we strive for in our spiritual practices and our spiritual living. So I say Grand Rising. Today we are concluding our series for the month of May, Good to Great to Grand. And our topic is Power of Vision, New Possibilities, and Enlarged Horizon. This weekend we are honoring Memorial Day, and I offer this quote from Ralph Waldo Trine. And he wrote, "Patriotism is a beautiful thing. It is well for me to love my country, but why should I love my own country more than I love others? If I love my own and hate others, then I show my limitations, and my patriotism will not stand the test, even for my own. If I love my own country and in the same way love all other countries, then I show the largeness of my nature. A patriotism of this kind is noble and always to be relied on." And this is from his book, In Tune with the Infinite. And then I came across this little piece of Memorial Day humor. A minister noticed little Alex standing at the large plaque that hung in the church's foyer. And the plaque was covered with names and small American flags. The 7-year-old had been standing there staring at the plaque for quite some time. And so the pastor walked over and said, "Good morning, Alex." "Good morning, Reverend," the young man replied, still focused on the plaque. "What is this?" Alex asked. "Well, son, it's a memorial to the men and women who died in service." Somberly, they stood together and observed the plaque for some more time. And then finally, little Alex asked, "Which service, the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock?" This leads us into our topic for this morning, the power of vision, new possibilities, and an enlarged horizon. In our journey this month, we have explored several aspects of growth that allow us to move from good to great to grand. And the overarching element of this process is twofold: self-actualization and collective actualization. So we're doing it for ourselves, and we're also embracing the community as part of this collective actualization. We viewed our inner landscape and took stock of where we are in our individual process, the values we aspire to, and how we can begin to live those values in meaningful and powerful ways. Today, we conclude our series by exploring the path from good to great to grand on a communal level. And from this broader perspective, we recognize that our collective journey is about creating nurturing spaces that respect and foster each other's individual authenticity. It's a response to the call for connection and the yearning for a sense of belonging. And this is what we are about, is creating inclusive, collective communities where each one feels valued, feels recognized, has this sense of belonging that creates the unique characteristics of the group that we are creating. Ernest Holmes writes this in the Science of Mind textbook on page 423. "What the world needs is a spiritual conviction followed by individual experience." And he says, "I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle rather than to have them repeat all of the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than to practice it." And I think this quote by Holmes reminds us that it's easier to recite these words of wisdoms and quotes, but it's yet another thing to live from this space that supports ourselves and the world around us. And one of the ways we do this is by sharing our demonstrations. And this is why when we have time, we create that opportunity at the end of our Sunday celebrations for people to share their experience of how living these principles have worked in their lives. And it's an opportunity for us to not only share our own experience, but for the collective group that is here in person, as well as those who are joining us as part of our virtual communities, can hear how this works, how living the principles of science of mind works, and how we can implement those in our own lives, because we learn by illustration and we learn by demonstration. Embracing the power of vision, we recognize that it is a companion to self-actualization. It lets us know where we are and where we create together. And every day is a possibility to become a better version of ourselves. So capitalize on it. Every day is an opportunity to become a better version of ourselves. And we're not doing that for external validation. We're doing that for our own self-evaluation and acknowledgement of who we are living this life of God. The spiritual practice of visioning allows us to live in alignment with our truest selves. We create those supportive spaces even in the presence of challenges and the absence of external validation, thus moving us collectively from good to great to grand. And we're always on this trajectory, this spiral upward of recognizing that where I am now is a good place because I am one with Spirit. I am in this good place. And yet, as I continue to live my life, as I continue to practice these principles, as I continue to practice visioning and other spiritual tools in my life, I move from good to great to grand. We live in a microwave culture where we're seeking instant gratification. This practice of spiritual visioning counters this. And I like this what blogger Kendon Dorch offers. God is not in a hurry. We are. That's why we're tired, anxious, stressed, and disappointed. Don't force things. Stop rushing. Trust in God's divine timing. This is where patience is required. And we want everything to happen right now. Right now. I want this instant demonstration. I want this, okay, I've done my visioning. I hear this a lot and I see it a lot. Well, I've done my spiritual practices and it's just not working. It's just not working. It's not working because we're not allowing it to percolate. We're not being in that space of openness and receptivity to really hear what Spirit is saying to us, how we're being directed. One of the ways we do this is to create space. We have a collective responsibility to create space for and to encourage each individual to engage in their own process of self-exploration and authentic expression. And we have the tools of science of mind to assist us and support us with the exploration and authentic expression. Ralph Waldo Emerson offers this for creating space. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Being ourselves, being our authentic self right where we are is the greatest accomplishment. And it is through that just demonstration of our genuineness that others around us will see that and will begin to question, what is it? There's something different. What are you doing? What is it about you that you know, there's a change, there's a shift, and I really can't put my finger on it, but I know there's something different. This is where our opportunity then to share the experience of divinity allows us to demonstrate and share with others what we are doing. Creating sacred space requires cultivating empathy, compassion, and a deep respect for each individual's individuality. In this sacred space, we honor the inherent potential within each individual, recognizing that everyone is empowered to blossom into their fullest expression and contribute to the collective tapestry of the totality of authentic self-expression. We accomplish this by more than words. Embracing each other's individual expression and self-actualization requires a commitment to actively demonstrate our support for and acceptance of ourselves and each other. The practice of spiritual visioning empowers us to form our responses using tangible actions to create an inclusive and nurturing environment for each one to explore their authenticity. Our actions must transcend the boundaries of passive acceptance and move towards understanding the transformative power of lived experiences. You may have heard the expression that we don't know another's experience until we walk in their shoes. But I offer this to you. The journey that I have walked in my shoes is my unique journey. You may be an observer, but you can never walk in my shoes. You can never walk the experience that I have walked. And this is true for each one here. We walk our own individual journey, and we can walk this collectively. There's an African proverb, and I'm probably not quoting it correctly or accurately, but it says something to the effect that if you want to move quickly, walk alone. If you want to get results, walk together. And so the invitation for us in creating spiritual community is to walk together. There's a Negro spiritual that says, we're going to walk and never tire. Walk and never tire. We're walking together in this community of love and connection and creativity. Ernest Holmes wrote this in Creative Living on page 58. There is an irresistible potential pressing against everyone for self-expression. So there's something, what Holmes is saying is there's something within us. There's something that is calling us forward, that is calling each one of us to our individual expression of the greatness and the grandeur of who we are. Self-expression becomes evident in authentic acts of encouragement, support, and celebration, which fosters a culture of true acceptance and empowerment of each individual to embark on their unique path of self-discovery and actualization. So this is where we move beyond mere words. We create an environment, we create a place where there is encouragement. We celebrate and foster the true acceptance of each individual that is walking on their journey. We're not walking this alone. And this leads us to ask the question, who are we when no one is looking? Who are we when no one is looking? Consider this introspective question for self-discovery. Am I willing to fall 7 times and get up 8 times in order to express my authenticity? Again, there's a song that says, we fall down and we get up. We fall down and we get up. And this is something that is not often encouraged in our Western culture. You know, we fall down, okay, you've made a mistake, so you're going to be bound by and judged by and critiqued by this mistake for the rest of your existence. That's not how spirit works. Spirit doesn't look at the number of times that we fall down. Spirit is there to support us in getting up and continuing to move forward. And so in our private moments, spiritual visioning allows us to tap into that wellspring of inner wisdom. We realize that who we are, and when no one is watching, defines the authenticity and transformative potential that we bring to the world. We have a unique gift for the world. And I'm speaking beyond just the teachings of science of mind. Yes, science of mind as an experience, as a philosophy, as a spiritual tool, has unique transformative qualities that it brings to the world. By living these qualities, by living these unique experiences, this is how the world sees science of mind. It sees it through us. This is how the world sees the divine. It sees us through us by the way we show up in the world. Following the murder of George Floyd, Stephanie Dillon of the Rolling Stones Culture Council offered these questions for those who wanted to end oppression. And the questions are, how do we treat others? Do my practices align with my values? How am I holding myself and others accountable? But the main question is, who am I when no one is looking? Who am I when no one is looking? This is where we cultivate authenticity and align our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with an awareness of the impact, our individual impact on the collective experience. It is through conscious alignment of our internal and external landscape that we shape our lives and become architects for our collective reality. Now, this may sound like some lofty goal that, only the enlightened, those of us who possess these magnificent spiritual qualities, can aspire to. No, cancel that. The way we show up authentically, the way we show up authentically is to live our lives according to our values and our principles. And by doing so, we do make a difference. We become the change that we wish to see in the world by living it from the place where we are right here in this very moment. My friend and colleague, Reverend Julie Urianti, shares this nugget of encouragement. And she says, in times of uncertainty, I can count on the power of kindness. And what Reverend Julie is referring to is that inner kindness, that place where that spark of divinity is never dampened. It is never turned off. It's that place of inner peace, that kindness that is within each of us that comes forward. And so the power of kindness invites us to actively practice empathy, compassion, and acceptance. Another overarching theme of the teachings of Science Mind is to practice empathy and compassion and acceptance. And I'm going to add to that grace. Cultivating an environment where each individual feels seen, heard, and celebrated. Again, this is what we are about. This is why we come together and create community. It is to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to feel a sense of belonging. Our actions allow us to create transformative spaces where each individual embraces their true selves. And the good news is that together, we forge a path towards a world where everyone can unapologetically be themselves and contribute to a more vibrant, compassionate, and interconnected life. I invite us to say our affirmation for the week together now. I create spaces for authentic self-expression and belonging in myself and others. Let us say that again. I create spaces for authentic self-expression and belonging in myself and others. And I invite us to turn within as we join our collective consciousness in prayer. Knowing that right here and right now, there is this all-prevailing presence of spirit And it is demonstrating itself as the one life, as the one power, and the one source of all that there is. And I boldly declare and affirm my unity with this energy, with this all-prevailing presence. For it is the life that I live right here and right now. And as this is true for me, I embrace it, and I know it, and I affirm it and declare it for each one that is gathered here in our spiritual center this morning. And for those who may be viewing via technology, whether you're viewing via Zoom or on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, wherever you are, right here, right now, each one is an individual expression of the divine. And it is from this place in the divine that we live our authentic lives. We move into that place of spiritual expression, of authenticity, knowing that I am the place where God shows up. And so I speak my word this morning for peace in our world, knowing that beyond, as Rumi says, any ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field, and I will meet you there. And that field is that place of inner peace. It is that place of knowing that I am one with all of creation. And so as I move into that field of pure potentiality, I let go of attachments to outcomes. I let go of attachments to any ideas of right doing or wrongdoing. And I live as the authentic expression of life itself. And I invite each one to join me in that space. And that space is within my own individual consciousness. And so it is from this consciousness of love and empathy and compassion and grace that I invite each one to join me, knowing that we're all in this journey together. I speak a word acknowledging places where people are gathering in the name and nature of oneness and wholeness. Recognizing that along this journey, there are opportunities where our paths may intersect to exchange and to embrace the authenticity and the self-expression of each one. And we take that love, we take that energy, we take that power, and we multiply it in the highways and byways of life. I speak my word knowing that there is divine right action taking place in the lives of each one. And the divine right action outpictures as whatever it is that is required to live this life of grace and wholeness, to live a life of health and happiness, to live a life of fulfilled desires, to live a life where there are no unfulfilled expectations, because everything that I require is within me right now. And all I have to do is bring it forward in consciousness and see the demonstration in my life. And so for this and so much more, I am eternally grateful. And in gratitude, I release this word back into that law which always says yes, and I just allow it to be so. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, please affirm it by saying, and so it is. Again, I want to thank you for your attendance and participation this morning. And just a reminder for those of you who are here in the center, don't leave home with a problem, and don't deny us the opportunity to celebrate demonstrations and manifestations with you by filling out a prayer request, a treatment request, and leaving it in our treatment box. I'm going to keep saying this until that treatment box gets some entries in there, even if I have to move it. Take advantage of the opportunity to release and to celebrate whatever it is, and to allow the practitioners and the ministers here to celebrate with you and to be in prayer with you. And also for those who are viewing virtually, We have prayer request opportunity on our website, www.montereycsl.org. This is a confidential mailbox that I, as the minister, have access to, and we invite you to take that opportunity to submit your prayer request. We also partner with our Centers for Spiritual Living World Ministry of Prayer and our fellow New Thought partners at Unity Worldwide. And the contact information for that is on our website and also in our newsletter, which we encourage you to subscribe to. And now it is time for us to celebrate and participate in the law of circulation. This is where we share our abundance, and we have an affirmation of abundance I invite us to say together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the uninterrupted flow of abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And again, I want to thank you for the way that you continue to support this center. And now I'm going to ask Richard if he will pass the collection basket here among those of us who are here in the center. If you could do that now, Richard. And also for those who are viewing online, as well as for our congregants who continue to donate by mail. We appreciate the mail-in contributions. You may also text to give, and that number is on our screen. And you may also donate to our website, montereycsl.org. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your love and the continuing ongoing support of our spiritual community. And now I just have a few items to share as we move to the conclusion of our service. We are celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Month, and we recognize the contributions of our neighbors from that community. Also, tomorrow is the celebration of Memorial Day. And we invite you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, to just recognize that the significance of Memorial Day is to recognize our heroes and sheroes. And I think I'm being politically correct in doing so. Recognizing our brothers and sisters and our comrades who have given the ultimate gift to make a difference in the world, to make a difference for our country, and to make a difference for those around the planet. So celebrate, enjoy, and remember. And so for our family and community that are viewing via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, we invite you to return next week as we begin our new series, Holy Boldness, for the month of June. And the topic for next Sunday is sacred audacity. We're taking this bold step, and so we're going to be audaciously sacred in taking this bold step. And we invite you to like, to comment, and share, and to click on that bell so that you receive reminders of what's happening here at the Monterey Center. So we bid farewell. We say we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank God for you.